Hello everybody, this is the Starving Martian, and today we are beginning our look at the Topps Comics Dinosaurs Attack trading card set from 1988. Alright guys, so this has been a long time coming. Let me set the stage for you. As I said, the year was 1988. It had been 26 years since Mars Attacks had been released, and Topps was feeling a little bit nostalgic. See, back in 1962, Mars Attacks was out for a little bit, couple months, and got shut down pretty darn quick due to parents groups and lawmakers in Connecticut. And I actually live in Connecticut, so I have freedom to say what the heck is wrong with us. But in any event, Mars Attacks was what one reviewer called collectible gore, and parents didn't want little Jimmy to be looking at these cards with all these horrible green alien monsters, burning flesh and destroying dogs. Not to mention kidnapping beautiful young ladies. So the plug got pulled on Mars Attacks, but strange thing happened. Word of mouth started circulating. This was, of course, decades before the internet. But even without the cards being out there, people were still talking about them. People still remembered them. And the cards that did survive the purge, they became valuable. They were being hunted by collectors. And so it was 1988, and the times have been changing. Censorship wasn't what it had been. Things have been loosened up a bit. Comic books, for example, still carried the comic code stamp, but it didn't mean half as much as it used to. And so Topps figured, let's try this again. Now in a world, a culture that will accept our collectible gore, let's put it out there and see what happens. So they went at it in two fronts. They tried a series of comic books for Mars Attacks, Pocket Comics. They were going to do 54 of those. They only got 4 of them done before they stopped publishing for lack of interest. I have a review, very first review I ever did on this channel for those. So if you feel like looking at that, click on the name Starving Martian and find Mars Attacks the Comics. And also in 1988, they put out Dinosaurs Attack, and just like the Mars Attacks Pocket Comics, it didn't do fantastic. They got the whole set out. They didn't have to pull it due to controversy, but it just didn't make much of a wave. Nobody cared. And I think the reason for that is because it was no longer controversial, because it could now be freely on the market. It didn't make the same sort of waves that Mars Attacks did 20 plus years previous, because by this point, it was the late 80s. The slasher movies were a big thing, and this kind of card just seems almost quaint by comparison. And so sadly, Dinosaurs Attack never got the same love that Mars Attacks later did. It wasn't remembered nearly as well or nearly as fondly. It's only had this one card series, which has never been reprinted. There was also a comic book mini-series, which I might do a look at some point if you guys want. And also recently, during Mars Attacks Occupation, there was I believe, a 9-card subset of Mars Attacks and Dinosaurs Attack squished together. And that's it. That's the entirety of Dinosaurs Attack. So the card set itself, if you like Mars Attacks, you will love Dinosaurs Attack. I'm telling you. Everything great about Mars Attacks, aside obviously from the Martians, is here in dinosaur form. So I've already chewed up 4 minutes of your time. Let's get into the cards themselves. This is card number 1, and it's a nice title card. You see giant Tyrannosaurus Rex munching on the earth, which has a strawberry jelly filling for some reason. Alright, much like Mars Attacks, same card stock. The back of the cards, this grainy kind of finish. Some of them have color. Look at that. Forward. Ever forward and onward. So there's that if you want to read it. Pause the video. But yeah, so Mars Attacks was not nearly as story heavy as Dinosaurs Attack is. And so Um, we are going to be looking at the backs of some of these cards, which we really didn't do much for the Mars Attacks cards because, like I said, it is more story driven. There's characters that continue throughout, and some of the backs of the cards are unique and hilarious, and I would feel guilty if I didn't show them to you. So here's card number 2, Experiment in Space, which sets the stage for the action to come. Apparently this is a satellite, the Prometheus, not to be confused with the alien movie of the same name, if you want to call it an alien movie. And it's got a mission to use a new time scanner that's been developed by a scientist by the name of Dr. Elias Thorne and his assistant. I believe her name is Helen. Wikipedia claims that she's his wife. I'm not 100% on that, but they definitely are in a relationship. Anyway, this time scanner is supposed to open up a window to the past. You could shine it on Earth and see what Earth looked like millions of years previously. And so that's what they're doing there. Now, the back of most of the cards, they're set up to look like different headlines from different newspapers. This one's the New York Enquirer, Experiment in Space. And just like the Mars Attacks card, you'll notice there's a little picture in the corner showing you what the next card is going to be. They took a lot of inspiration from Mars Attacks. For example, just like Mars Attacks, you got the white border. You got the same font here, Experiment in Space, as was used for the descriptions on the Mars Attacks cards. You got the same yellow lettering and red splotch here where the number is, which flip back and forth. Sometimes that's yellow, that's red. So yeah, they very much had Mars Attacks on their mind when they made these cards. If you love Mars Attacks, you'll instantly recognize, you'll get a feel for that. So this is Dr. Elias Thorne and his assistant Helen. And this card is the Time Scanner Disaster. So they're scanning through time, they're looking down on Earth, and suddenly something looks back. What this something is, we will find out later in the card series. We will see it again, and it will look completely different than what we're looking at right now. Keep these two in the back of your head, by the way. We will be returning to Dr. Thorne and Helen. Card 4, The Past Comes Alive. Alright, so 4 cards in, and the dinosaurs are already attacking. And this bridge is a goner, as is whoever's in that truck up there. In fact, he's not even in the truck, he's jumped out. Look at that. So he's going to fall to his death, and that's about that. All the dinosaurs, by the way, in this card series are killers. Even the plant eaters are killers. Plant eaters love flesh. There's like 2 plant eaters in the entire card set who eat plants. It's amazing. Card 5, Homeroom Horror. They just do not build school walls like they used to, I suppose. Now, I said things like this weren't controversial anymore, but I wonder if you could get away with something like this, having a deadly attack inside a classroom, or if that would be considered a no-go. Card 6 is Police Precinct Assaulted. So here we have a rare flesh-eating Stegosaurus. There's one guy here in the front. Gets not only his eye, but part of his flesh and face whapped off with that tail, so you can see his skull. It's pretty gruesome. DC Holocaust. Because what would a Mars Attack style card set be without an attack on Washington? So, insert your least favorite politicians in this shot, and you'll be happy. Alright. Card number 8, again, for all you Mars Attacks fans out there. Crushing a Canine. Okay, this has got to be a direct reference to Destroying a Dog, one of the most infamous Mars Attacks cards. With the little girl in the background who can't bear herself to look. And her daddy or mommy or whatever that is. Can't tell from just the corner. Kind of restraining her there, but... Alright, card number 9, Nuptial Nightmare. I wonder if he's with the bride or the groom. No, they're both with him. Here comes the bride. Oh no, she died. Alright, now this is the first of our cards that we have to look on the back of. This is great. Here we have a wedding reception card, all blood splattered. I was going through the cards numerically one by one, and I got to this one, and that's when I decided I love this card set. Italy under siege. You know, they had an opportunity here to finally straighten that tower out, and they just completely missed. Again, people falling out the top of the tower. Never climb to the top of a tower when giant dinosaurs are attacking your city. Just a word to the wise. Card 11, Trapped in the Basement. Yeah. So there's one guy getting very messily devoured. Lady in the back suffering the same fate. This guy up in the corner thinks he's going to fit through that window. And here we go. I love the back of this one too. Help us! We're trapped in the basement. Air running low. Monsters burrow out of the ground at night to eat us. Wee! That's great. And I wonder if the guy in the corner here is actually trying to escape, or if he's like sending that note out. I don't know. Panic in the stadium. Alright, and as I said, most of these cards, the back of them are made to look like newspapers, and they'll change the newspaper depending on what area it is, whether it's New York or Philadelphia or wherever the dinosaurs happen to be at that moment. So the back of this one is the sports pages. And I think we'll end today with Rock Concert Carnage. This is one of those rare cards that actually features herbivores not eating people, although they are eating their hair. This one lady is pounding on, get off of him! Guy in the corner is going to bust his guitar over his head, but this is a rock concert. He's probably going to bust the guitar at some point anyway. And I love the back of this card. Alright, here we got a interview after the fact. It was crazy, man. Some bleeping dinosaur jumps on the stage and starts tearing my hair off. Apparently, the plant-eating creatures mistook the hair of these rock performers for the tops of trees they fed upon hundreds of millions of years ago. I love, you know what is great about this card is they actually got live-action people to come and pose for this. I mean, they put a whole level of care into these cards that is just unbelievable. I also like that this TV camera is apparently able to catch this one guy's thoughts. Heavy. So yeah, so that's our first look at Dinosaurs Attack. We'll come back before too long with part 2 of this card set. I hope you guys stick through because these are great cards. Highly recommend them. But until next time, guys, this has been the Starving Martian. I'll catch up with you later. Bye.